Okay, so Blake, I watched your video, all 46 minutes of it, and even after that, I don't have any personal problems with you. You're well within your right to make a video, and you even stated in the beginning that it was not an attack, so, I can't hate you for being honest. If you're not attacking me, you're not attacking me. And it's not like there aren't people out there who associate with marbles that I associate with that I also don't have any issues with, because there are. Coughlin is one of them. He's the one who'll stand out the most. I've been subscribed to him for years. I think he's a cool dude. I like a lot of his videos, but he associates with marbles, but I don't have any issues with him either because I don't have any reason to. Anyway, there are things about your video that I agree with. There are also things about your video that I don't agree with and that I think you've kind of missed the point on, so I'm going to take the time now to address those. At the very beginning of your video, you kind of laugh it off when I bring psychology into this whole mess, like I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm just pulling it out of my ass. You can laugh at it all you want. I know that I'm right, and I'm going to stand by it no matter what. When I first met Marbles about 5 years ago during a Skype call when I started getting more involved in this ranting community thing, he was doing the same shit to people then that he's doing now. 5 years is a very, very long time to try to keep up that same kind of behavior. And considering that your friend is only 22, that means he was in his mid-teens when he was starting to do all this shit. Your teenage years are extremely important when it comes to your psychology. Considering that your friend here is just barely out of them, it becomes even more and more obvious to me why he is doing what he is doing. One of the main ways he will try to get somebody's attention and get a response out of them is by attacking something going on in their personal life. For me, he tries to rip apart the fact that my ex-fiance and I have a child together, but we're separated. So he'll go and make the assumption that I'm a terrible father, that I never see my kid, yada yada yada. Now, none of this is true, but he doesn't care, he does it anyway. He's also done the same thing to Stoutmeister, because Stoutmeister was in a relationship with a girl who had a kid, and they had a falling out, and even though that child was not biologically Stoutmeister's child, he attacks him like he's a bad father as well, and he'll do this with anyone he finds having a similar issue going on in their life. Now, most normal people won't ever have it occur to them to do something this foul. Usually on the internet, calling someone a fuckhead is all it really takes. But your friend Marbles decides to do this so many different times to so many different people that I'm thinking it has less to do with issues he has with those people and issues he has with things of a similar nature that have gone on in his own life. Rather than addressing these problems, he's sloughed them off as weapons to attack other people with, so he doesn't have to deal with them. That's not healthy. That is no way to live your life. Now, you actually brought up my years of wasted time on the Onision shit. That ties into this more than you'd think. Now, let's face it, 6 years worth of that shit? You couldn't sit there with a straight face and convince me you didn't think at some point there wasn't a personal motivation behind it. Because I'll sit here and tell you, yes, there was. There was a very personal motivation behind all that Onion Boy shit. I was disgusted at watching someone do to people what I had done to people myself early on in my life. Now, not often to the extreme he had taken it, but it still struck me so singularly that I had to say something about it. Because instead of facing my own problems, I thought it would be easier to justify them by going and attacking somebody else who was just as big of a shitbag as I had been. And I think that's what your friend is doing here. Now, like I said earlier, your friend will constantly attack people like myself and Stoutmeister and others because we've got situations in our personal life regarding kids or regarding social matters in our own lives that don't seem very normal to other people. He literally knows nothing factual about any of these respective situations, but that in and of itself does not matter to him. Because no matter what you do or say, it's always, he's right, you're wrong. It doesn't matter that you're the person directly going through this. He's right, you're wrong. When it came to these abuse videos of me getting into a fight with my fiance that came out, it didn't matter what my fiance even had to say about them. She was wrong, he was right. It didn't matter what I had to say about it. I was wrong, he was right. That is not a healthy mentality to have, at all. That means he's justified being right no matter what so hard in his own mind that even if he's staring down the barrel of actual factual evidence stated to him by the people who went through it, they're still going to be wrong. And every single time he's cornered with that, he just makes an ass out of himself and thinks he's being funny to try to slip away from being wrong. Do you really think that a person like that is a very trustworthy guy to have in your life? I've known people like this in my own life, and I'm glad I don't have them around anymore. These are the kind of people who will fuck you over and then do or say anything in order to justify the act of fucking you over. So that in the end, when it's all said and done, nothing you do or say yourself will seem believable because they've done everything they can to manipulate the few people around who didn't see it all go down firsthand into thinking that, oh yeah, this guy really is right, and the other person is just pulling all this shit out of their ass. In the description box, I've linked a video I made over a year ago about a situation I went through where I got fucked over very badly from a group of people I thought I could trust. And it describes pretty well what you go through when you deal with people who no longer see a use for you and screw you over and make sure that nothing you do or say in defense of yourself will ever matter. It's just their word over yours automatically. My videos are not an attempt to control who's friends with who or who's not friends with who. I'm not interested in doing anything like that, and frankly, when I see people try to do something like that, I think it's disgusting, petty, and low. And quite childish, to be honest. But what I am getting at is that you should be mindful of who and what you choose to invite into your life. With the situation that I just got done describing in the video I put in the box below, there were people left and right telling me that I should not trust these people anymore. That they were obviously going to fuck me over very soon. You know what I was doing? I was too busy not paying attention to rationality because I was too close to the situation to. I was too busy going, hey man, these people are my friends. They've got my back. They really care about me and appreciate me as a person. Whereas everybody who was distant from the situation could clearly see that no, they don't give a shit about you at all, Steve, and you're kind of an idiot to sit there and work for people who will not pay you for the work that you do and treat you like shit because they treat everyone around them like shit. Oh, well, look at that. You got fucked over. Huh. We totally didn't see that coming and weren't telling you about it for months. Kind of, you want to do what you can to avoid that. Let's just put it in perspective here. Marbles will rip me and Andrew apart for shit in our lives, and this guy has never met us, ever. And he doesn't have a clue about what he's talking about. Do you really think that you, as an online acquaintance, are any different to somebody like that? No. Even if you were a friend to him in person? No, not really. And that's just the sad reality of it. And that's essentially what I'm trying to get at in my videos. Now, finally, as for the part in my video where I said that he had tried to do something to a female ranter that was absolutely disgusting, where they could have potentially been raped, potentially been physically harmed, and he's claiming for evidence, I'm not going to put that evidence out there. It's not that I don't have it. I do. I have absolutely undeniable proof that he tried to do something like this. But I'm not going to put it out there for a very, very good reason. If I were to do that, all Marbles would do is take advantage of it and use that to try to intimidate, harass, and threaten this person into not talking anymore. Possibly not even being on YouTube anymore. I'm not going to give somebody who would be willing to do something like that to cover their own ass the ability to. He knows full well what I'm talking about. And I have, like I said, absolutely undeniable proof that he's done something like this. And the fact that he even tried to do it at all is absolutely disgusting. I think that just goes to say miles about his character as a human being. I mean, how else am I really supposed to feel? Honestly, when you're in a chat with several other people and one of them is basically sobbing, telling them what this motherfucker has done to them, how else am I supposed to approach this? Am I supposed to just sit back and go, fuck her, you know, it's all just one big joke. If you can't handle somebody doing something like that to you, then get off of YouTube? Or am I supposed to go, no, that's an insane mentality, and there's no rational reason why a normal person should have that sort of outlook on things like this? I'm glad I'm not as callous as to say, yes, it's just a big joke. I wouldn't want to become like that. As I said earlier, I'm not trying to control who's friends with who, but it does bother me a little bit that this guy's friends with people who are generally absolutely opposed to this sort of thing going on and have gone out of their way to make tons of videos telling the world just how opposed to shit like this they really are. Oh well. Anyway, it's pretty much all I've really got to say in this video. So, like I said, after your 46-minute video, don't have any personal problems with you, man. You seem like a cool enough dude. And, you know, like I said, understand where you're coming from. I should have been a little bit more direct about who I was referring to. Because there are people out there that do, unfortunately, associate with this guy who I don't have issues with, and I shouldn't have lumped you into that category. So for that, I apologize. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you see a little bit more of where I'm coming from this time around. So anyway, to the rest of you, I'm some guy on the internet, and so are you. Take it easy.